Nation Overtime.
All right, welcome back to the show. Now, in the second quarter, Penn State went up 17-0 on a Devyn Ford run, and I thought it was such an awesome moment with what we found out post-game, that Ford lost his brother about a week ago, had to miss the Michigan game, and just to see him get in the end zone, and we didn't know at the time, but just to see the emotion, and post-game, he was open about everything and whatnot. Mark, what did you think of just that moment, not knowing it at the time, but afterwards, just how cool that was?
Yeah, I mean, all the credit in the world to him for coming back and playing in a very difficult situation, and not only playing, but playing well. I thought both running backs played well. But, one thing I will say about this team is the way that guys carry themselves in press conferences, win or lose, they're very good. And for him to actually be proactive about something like that, very difficult thing to talk about. He's a young guy, and he's talking about losing his brother. And, your heart goes out to him. And it was also pretty cool to see all the reporters. We're usually, kind of tough on people. Everybody giving their condolences because your heart goes out. And to see him be able to make that play was big.
Yeah, and obviously he scored an unfortunate touchdown against Indiana. So to be able to score
Wet
a couple
Blanket.
more, I think is great. And, he's been a pretty good player here so far this year, and he's a young player. I thought he played well yesterday. 3 guys had 65 yards. So he was one of them.
I just can't imagine having to go through what he went through. I mean, and having to come back a week later. I mean, you want to get that stuff, get that behind you and all, and your teammates can rally behind you, and then you score a touchdown like that, and who that was for. So
yeah, one other thing I'll throw in about this is, in this year, it would have been real easy for a lot of players to kind of lose it, to kind of say, you know what, I'm all about me. You have Sean Clifford, who stayed a team player, and now things are paying off. You have Devyn Ford. You think that was easy for him going through that difficult situation and then seeing a freshman step up and be Big Ten Player of the Week? Nothing negative whatsoever. All positive, nothing but support from Devyn Ford to the younger backs. Again, Clifford's been nothing but supportive of Levis of Clifford. So as difficult as this season has been, it's been nice to see that Dev kept his team together and his team has kept itself together.
And we've heard that Pat Fryermuth was on the sidelines traveling with the team still. I mean, there's a guy right there.
Arm and sling.
Go out to go start rehabbing in Florida or Arizona, get ready for the draft or whatnot, but he's still with the team and still supporting these guys. That's great.
There was a lot of disappointment early in the year, obviously the first at least half of the year, but it doesn't look like they really lost the team. There's still been effort, pride that they're playing with. And I agree with you, because you don't know all the behind-the-scenes stuff, especially this year because there's been a disconnect. But guys are still with it that maybe don't have to be, and their leader of the team wasn't at the very beginning of the season. Yeah. So,
it wouldn't be college football without controversy, and in 2020 we're going to have it with all the postponements and everything. But I want to throw a little curveball to the group. So, yesterday, Stadium reported that the Big Ten is considering changing its rules in terms of how they're going to send the Big Ten East champion to Indianapolis. Now, Ohio State may not play against Michigan on Saturday, which means they would only have 5 games. You need 6 in order to qualify. If Penn State was in that exact same situation, do you think the Big Ten would do this? Or is it because Ohio State is such a big name brand and they're right now the number 4 team in the country?
Goon's got to answer that
one.
Is
this a question or let me think there. 1994, they wouldn't have done a thing for us. But in 2020, when they need a couple $100 million to get one of these teams into the college football playoffs, let's put 2 and 2 together, guys.
Yeah, I agree. I think they would absolutely do it for Penn State or anybody else. If that's your best team, I think you want them going to that championship game and having an opportunity to play in the college football playoffs.
Yeah, and even if Ohio State doesn't play this week, I think they've already proven that they belong among the elite. And I think everybody who's following the Big Ten should want them there, because if they're not there, it's going to hurt the Big Ten.
I think they have. Honest to God, I really do think. I think they are the best team in the country.
I will say one other thing. It was nice to see Larry Johnson get a win. I mean, that guy really represented Penn State well when he was at Penn State, and I think a lot of Penn State fans, even though he's with the dreaded Buckeyes, have a place in their heart for that guy because he did a lot of good things for a lot of years at Penn State. So congratulations, Larry Johnson.
Quick thing, Goon, one last thing on the Rutgers thing. Your former coach, Greg Schiano,
sure,
back on the sidelines for Rutgers and whatnot. How do you think he's done so far, kind of trying to really revive that program when it's just been such a joke for the last 5-6 years?
Yeah, he's going to try and resuscitate it for the second time. I know Greg. We all know Greg, and that he is a tough New Jersey guy. Yesterday was so important for us to go out and win that game because That'd have had 5 or 10 year ramifications if they had lost that game when it comes to recruiting. I mean, you know as well as I do how many guys we've gotten from Jersey over the years. I mean, Jersey and Ohio, and then the Pennsylvania kids, the Maryland, the 5-hour window is what we always talked about with the Paterno thing. But with Greg, that would be his first recruiting pitch right there is, why do you want to go to Penn State? We beat them last year. And that's recruiting. That's the way it is, and that's the way Greg is. I mean, he's a competitive guy, and he will turn that thing around again.
You know, they played really hard, and they're very much improved. I mean, you know, it's 20-7 with 8 minutes to go, and Penn State had really dominated the game. To me, that's because of how competitive Rutgers really was.
Yeah, and it's nice to see Rutgers being competitive. That was the first game this year they were held under 20 points. They went into that thing averaging over 30 points per game, 5th in the Big Ten in scoring. So, yeah, credit to Rutgers, but also give Penn State a lot of credit. You know, what Goon said, not only going in there, but going in there and dominating.
Yep. All right, coming up next, Sparty comes to town. It's prediction time. Plus, we talk about how I'm on the biggest heater of my life.